Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. And this is the Zero Tolerance 0909. All right, so here we are with the Zero Tolerance 0900 and 0909. So I was going to make a video on the 909, and I realized I never made a video on the 900. So we're going to do both of them in the same video, kind of talk about the differences and compare and contrast, show you what you get with each one. Obviously, you have a size difference, you have some material differences, but let's talk about what else. So both designed by Les George, made by Zero Tolerance here in the United States, lifetime warranty, all that fun stuff that you get with the Zero Tolerance manufacturing. Really great company. I like dealing with them on the dealer side as well as the customer side. They're just some good guys to deal with. All right, we'll start off with the specifications of the 0900. So KVT ball bearings on here, S35VN steel with a stone wash finish, titanium handles also with a stone wash, so you've got kind of a nice, clean, even look between the titanium and the stainless steel. Blade length is 2.7 inches, closed length is 3.9 inches, overall length is 6.6 inches, and the weight is 4.3 ounces. Let's talk about the specifications on the 909. Go to the other tab on my tablet I got sitting over here. All right, so also has KVT ball bearings, also has S35VN steel, textured G10 on the handles. It is a liner lock, but man, look at those liner locks. Those are super thick and substantial. Or look at the liners, I'm sorry. There's only one liner lock, but it's very thick, very substantial. Definitely a lot of material in there that's going to keep it nice and strong and rock solid. Locking well, opening and closing very easily. I like what they did with this. I'm not a big fan of liner locks, but if they are going to do liner locks, make them big and substantial and be able to handle abuse like all the Zero Tolerance stuff. And they definitely did that in this case. So the other things on here, you've got 3.8 inches on the blade length. Closed length is 4.75 inches. Overall length, 8.5 inches. And the weight is 7.5 ounces. So a decent amount heavier than the smaller 0900 because of materials and size and everything else. But there you can see the difference between them. We'll kind of put the ends together. Obviously a much larger knife on the newer 909. Kind of a small knife on the 900, but it's still very substantial. You've got an almost 3-inch blade on there. You've got a very wide blade. So you got a lot of material in there, so you can kind of do some tough tasks with it. It'll hold up to pretty much any amount of abuse. Like I said in other videos, don't pry open car doors, but anything short of that, and it can handle it just fine. I wouldn't have any problem doing some tougher tasks with this other than just fine cutting. And of course, the larger 909 can do the same thing. Turn them around so you can see the other sides. Got a little bit different pocket clips on them. So you've got the uncoated on here, and it's got the laser engraving of the ZT logo, and then you have kind of a similar clip, but it's a little bit larger. You can see it's a little bit longer on there, and it has the coating on there. I actually like the coating. In the pocket clip is the thing that's getting bumped up against walls, and you're hitting it on your car door, and you're scraping it on things. So it gets this kind of distressed look, which I really, really like. So I like the coating on the pocket clip because it gives us this neat distressed look, this worn, used appearance, and I like that a lot. You're not going to get that as much with this pocket clip. And obviously, there are aftermarket options, and you can do a lot of switching and changing around on the Zero Tolerance knives. You can see that they look like they have the same mounting system on here, so you can probably switch those out if you want to. So lots of options. If you don't like the pocket clip, you can always change it out to something else. I've seen some people do some really cool anodizing when they've gotten their 900s and the 450s and the other bare titanium knives. So there's some pretty cool options out there if you want to get into your own anodizing, or if you want to get some aftermarket guys to do it. There's some pretty cool things that I've seen people do with the anodizing of the titanium on the 0900, so that's always an option. You have some custom pivot hardware here on the 0900. You don't have it on the 909, but you do have this neat industrial look. So it's like a little hex bolt that you've got on there. I like that look too. It's something similar to what they did with the Zero Tolerance Emersons. So cool look to that as well. You got more of an industrial, tough use look to this, a little bit more modern look on the 900. Both flippers both have that KVT ball bearing system. They both open really, really well. They just fly open. I really like showing customers that are new to high-end production knives Zero Tolerances, because some other companies out there, you show them a new flipper and maybe it doesn't have a ball bearing system, or maybe they don't have the detents right, or maybe they don't have the design right. You know, they don't have all the things right like Zero Tolerance does. And they're not really a good representation of high-end knives. So I tend to be overly positive in my knife reviews because I'm showing you the knives that I like. Eventually I'll get to the knives that I don't like, because eventually I'll run out of knives that I like. But for now, we're still in the knives that I like, and Zero Tolerance is definitely one of my favorite brands because they get everything right. And like I said, showing this to a customer is a good representation of high-end knives because they open so well. You can just put your index finger back there, push on it, opens really reliably, really smoothly. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, I can probably make it do it if I really want to, but just kind of stop it there. But a lot of knives, you kind of flick them and they go open to there, and you're like, man, that's not very cool. But this one, you put it in someone's hands, flies open every time. You don't have to flick your wrist. You don't have to do anything else. And it's a cool feeling, especially when you're new to knives, or honestly, any knife guys. It's a cool feeling as pretty much for your entire life. You've got the stainless steel lock bar inserts. That's something that what I was talking about just reminded me, because a lot of us like to sit and flick our knives all day long. Actually, I had to tell my employees to stop doing it while they're on the phone because customers were like, what on earth is that noise that's always going on? You got like 5 guys flicking their knives all the time. But a lot of us like to sit around and flick our knives, or when you first get it, you want to get the action nice and smooth and even. And got really good action on these. So you've got 2 really good flippers on here. You've got a little bit smaller blade on the 900, or actually significantly smaller. And man, it just flies out. So a lot of the larger knives, you got that nice weight to it that helps get them out. But this smaller knife, man, it just flies out. And I like the way that they have the flipper. So instead of kind of pushing down like this, you're kind of pushing back. You can see I'm pushing back on the spine of the knife, and that makes it just fly out. Really good action on these, especially the 900. I really like the action on it. It's super smooth, super reliable, and goes out really, really well. Take a look at the other side. There's the lock bar again. You got that lock bar insert. So I've talked about this in other videos, but the lock bar insert, what that does is it's steel against steel. So you've got titanium on the handles here, and titanium is a pretty soft metal. So when you've got titanium wearing against stainless steel, the titanium is going to wear down if you're sitting there flipping it all day long. And all of a sudden, you got lock issues. You got to send it in for warranty repair because they do have a lifetime warranty on these. And that's no fun. I mean, it may take thousands and thousands of times for you to flip it. Maybe more than that, maybe tens of thousands of times. But, you know, eventually it can happen. So what they've started doing on all their knives, or all the ones that I've seen, is they have this little insert in there. Let's take a closer look so you can see it a little bit better. But you can see where it attaches right there, and you've got this insert on the lock bar that actually presses up against the blade. So you've got stainless steel against stainless steel instead of titanium against stainless steel, and you get a lot better wear. And if it does ever happen to wear down, you do ever happen to have lock issues, it's a lot easier to replace that instead of the entire side of your knife. Another thing that it does is it acts as an over travel stop. So you can see when I'm pushing the lock bar over, I'm pushing it not as hard as I can, but I'm pushing it pretty hard, and there's a definite stop to it. So it stops, it keeps it from bending out too far, because you can bend these too far. Or if it didn't have that, you could bend it too far. I've definitely seen titanium knives, because titanium doesn't have the best memory in the world, even though it has a lot of other advantages. You can bend it too far and it won't bend back properly. So it's got an additional feature of having that stop in there to keep it from traveling too far. And then you have the same thing on the 909. Basically just because you have the G10 scale. So you can't bend it too far because you got a big old piece of G10 stopping you. But, you know, you've got the stainless steel on the inside here against the stainless steel, so that's going to wear really, really well. You're not going to have any issues with it wearing down over time or anything like that. All right, so there you go. That is the Zero Tolerance 0900 and 0909, both designed by Les George, made by Zero Tolerance. These are both production knives. They are not limited edition knives. When I first started making some knife videos, some of the first ones I did were limited edition Zero Tolerance knives, which as a dealer, probably not the smartest thing to do, because I can't sell them to you because they were long gone by the time I did the video. but I liked them so much that I made some videos on them. But these are both production knives. They're going to continue making these. As of the time of the video, we have both of these in stock in pretty good quantities, and we're going to continue getting them in as long as Zero Tolerance keeps on producing them. So you can get both of these from us at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. And that's it. Thanks for watching.